It is time now for the Sweetheart Program, brought to you today by Hereford Feed Ingredients. Shirley, Jean, and Betty Darlene Littlefield were born in Amarillo on July the 28th, 1936, to John and Ida Lee Littlefield. Their mother had no idea she was going to have twins until the nurse informed her during labor. Shirley is the oldest of the two by 15 minutes. They had an older brother, Donald Dean, who was 2 years old when they were born. He died in 1971. Their younger brother, Carol, lives in Rodeo, New Mexico today. The Littlefield family lived in Wayside, a community just east of Happy, Texas, until the twins were in 5th grade. The girls attended school in Sudan from 5th to 11th grade, and then they graduated from Lasbuddy High School in 1954. Betty married Gene Smith on December the 11th, 1954 in Lubbock. The Lasbuddy Church of Christ preacher agreed to meet them and marry them there. Neither wanted a wedding. Shirley actually went on the first couple of dates with Gene. Gene didn't know this until much later in the relationship. Shirley assured her twin Betty that Gene was a good man and safe to date, as Betty was shy. His name was Lahoma Gene Smith. His parents were Leonard and Eula Smith. He attended 3 years of college and then had to return home to help with the farm and his younger siblings when his father became ill. Then his mother also passed away about 2 years later. Shirley married Charleston Max Steinbock in June of 1955. His parents were Willie and Myrtle Steinbock. They had a beautiful wedding at the Lasbuddy Church of Christ. Surprisingly, Betty and Jean didn't attend the church services until later in their marriage. They were members of the First Baptist Church in Lasbuddy until it dissolved, and Betty currently attends the Trinity Christian Church here in Muleshoe now. Max and Shirley attended the Lasbuddy Church of Christ, and Gary and Shirley now attend the Muleshoe Cowboy Fellowship Church. Jean and Betty had two children, Timmy Carroll, who was born January the 15th, 1956, and Tammy Lee, who was born February the 14th, a few years later. Tammy Turner and her husband Robert live in Bastrop, Texas today. Tim passed away November of 2014. He was 58 years old. Betty has 5 grandchildren and 9 living great-grandchildren. Timmy Jean and Lydia Smith and their children Anna, Catherine, and Jonathan Eugene. He goes by Gene of College Station. Kimberly Joy and her husband Guy Nichols and their children J.C. Joy and Gyson Alexander Sig of Lasbuddy. Christopher John and Kendall Smith and their children, Cooper Todd, Coulter Dell, and Caden John of Lubbock. Cameron Gell and Haley Turner and their children, Landon Gell and Layla May of Round Rock. Leah Marie and her husband, Josh Jones, and their daughter, Aubrey Sue of Houston. Coulter Dell Smith died just hours after he was born, a few days after Tim passed away in November of 2014. Max and Shirley have 3 boys, Charleston Max, Dennis Glenn, and Terry Wayne. They also raised Max's niece and nephew, Delaney and Troy. Charleston and Belinda live in Sudan. They have 3 children, Montana Lee and her husband Mike Singer of North Carolina, Charleston Brock of Lasbuddy, and Mariah Daniela of Abilene. They have 1 grandson, Jace Joseph Singer. Dennis and Tanya live in Farwell. They have 2 children, Amberly Nicole and her husband Cody Altman of Muleshoe, Kyler Steinbach of Dallas-Fort Worth. They have 2 grandsons, Bodie Jack and Blevins Marshall Altman, and are expecting a granddaughter later this year. Terry and Judy live in Lasbuddy. They have 3 children, Cassie Brianne and her husband Dom of Lubbock, Ross Colton and Austin Wayne, who still live at home. They have 1 granddaughter, Brinkley. Monty and Delaney Barnes live in Buffalo Gap. They have 3 children, Becky, Brandon, and Bo. They also have 5 grandchildren. Troy and his wife live in Austin. Troy has 3 girls, Jennifer, Courtney, and Kristen, who are twins. He also has 2 granddaughters as well as several stepchildren and grandchildren. Gene passed away in 1991 at the young age of 59. Max Bodie passed away in 2002. Shirley and Betty's parents, the Littlefields, passed away in 2003 and 2004. It was a hard 3 years on the girls. Shirley and Gary Smith married a couple of years ago, as Gary is one great guy. He met Shirley and Betty at the senior center, at a senior center function in Portales, New Mexico. He is from Mountain Air, New Mexico. He and Shirley had very similar stories. His wife had passed away of the same lung disease as Max had a few years earlier. Her name was also Shirley. They both swore they'd never remarry. Then they did. Gary loves Shirley and takes such wonderful care of both ladies. It's not uncommon to see him caring for both of them, whether it be fixing a lawnmower tire, gardening, canning, driving them to Lubbock for doctor's appointments and various things. He cares for them with that memorable grin on his face everywhere they go. Shirley and Betty, like many twins, both dress alike. If something doesn't match on their outfits, they fix it before going out. They talk to each other numerous times a day. Shirley and Betty both cook for their family and friends and always have food prepared for someone who is ill or lost a loved one. They are such sweet and beautiful people, and they have such a special bond being twins that is fun to be around. Recently, they were honored for their 80th birthday on July the 30th at the Bailey County Electric meeting room with lots of family, friends, and sweet memories. And we here at Channel 6, along with Hereford Feed Ingredients, are honoring Shirley Steinbock Smith with her twin sister Betty Smith as our sweethearts for their 80th birthday. Such special ladies. Happy 80th to Shirley and Betty Smith. The Sweetheart program has been brought to you today by Hereford Feed Ingredients. You can find it on Reach Broadband Channel 6 in our rotation. Also, muleshoetv.com on our website. Click on the Sweetheart link at the top of the page. If you'd like to nominate someone to be our sweetheart here on Reach Broadband Channel 6, muleshoetv.com. Call 806-272-3990. We need a short biography and a picture.